What about life after Luai? No Luai tonight, their first big test without him in their side. Moved to the West Tigers, obviously. What did we think without him in the team?
I thought Jack Cole was solid. I think he did some really good things. He made a couple of mistakes, but it was a really promising performance by him, I thought.
Yeah, first up, in that side, under pressure, replacing, a really great premiership winning Samoan international. And I thought he was great, Jack Cole. He really was.
I'm Oscar 5'8". How do you reckon he went?
Jack Cole?
Yeah.
I think he was solid. I mean, he played his part. He they're so methodical in the way that they play and the way that they set up. And Cleary and Yo just own the team, right? Cole just needs to do his job. They simplify it for those guys who come in. It is that next man up mentality. And I think Jack did a really good job. And they'll stick with him if they keep performing like that. And they've still got Blaze Talunga to come back.
He had a rush of blood early in that first half when he put that kick through. I think it was on the third tackle, turned the ball over. But he was really composed after that. Didn't lose his head. Played a good game.
I mentioned this on the show the other night. They got a squad back home that beat Manly 38-0. They put 38 points from on the trial match. Yeah. So the depth with Cole and all these guys, it's just unbelievable. They're the team to beat, Gordy.
Isaiah Yo is the greatest chameleon that's played our game. And I'm saying that he started in the centres and he plays lock and he plays Cleary's out. He plays the ball-playing role. Then he plays state of origin and he's a front rower, stands in tackles, doesn't get put down. Yeah. Today he takes one off the ruck. Aiden Fanua Blake comes off the line sideways. He sees that. So his vision and he's goes, that's a halfback's vision. That's Joey. Oh, yeah, mate, the front rowers come off sideways. I'll just straighten here. He scores the first try. But then that's, to me, when you look at someone and you pigeonhole them, they come out and they just sort of one-dimensional. The strings he has to his bow. Unbelievable.
To do it first up, a big man, and big men take a little bit longer to warm into a season. The campaign he had last year, he captained Australia. He won that series. He was late into his off-season. He didn't turn up to training until January. Yep. And for him to come over here was just
turn up February next year.
Off the planet rugby
They're a
league.
great team, and they've got a great coach, and let's hear from him right now.
He definitely looked fit enough and good enough to be able to win a very tough game against a good opponent tonight. There's clearly some rust around, which is, always going to happen. So we're just happy to, like I said, beat a good opponent and just stoked to be part of this extravaganza, I'm going to call it that. It's just so cool. Obviously, when you lose players, you can talk about that, or we can talk about the guys that we still have. And we have probably 5-6 players in our current team that will be Panthers Hall of Famers, I believe. So it's if you've got that many players of that calibre, you're still in a pretty good space.
There he is, the new super coach, Ivan Cleary. Can't put a foot wrong, but Reedy, you still don't think that they should be favourites?
No, I didn't write them off, Braith. I just said they weren't the favourites. It's tight. It's tight at the top, but I think Melbourne have got the edge, but based on their squad.
You know what? I'll move on from that. Let's hear
Please move on, bro.
Okay, let's hear from the Cronulla Sharks coach, Craig Fitzgibbon.
Yeah, cracking game, really. High intensity, particularly the first half, and then when the game was on the line. So it's a really good first hit out for us. But obviously they're 4-time premiers for a reason, know what to do when it gets into those situations and those stakes, and then they just got too far ahead. So knew how to close it a little bit better than us, and plenty of lessons, and it's probably a bit better than the last few times we played them, so we're getting closer.
The big question for the Cronulla Sharks this year was who was going to be the dominant half. We spoke about it on NRL 360 throughout the week and in the pre-game show tonight, Trindle or Hynes. And after tonight's game, I think it's fair to say Trindle was the dominant half. Hynes started well, but still a question mark over his performance. I don't want to bash. This isn't about knocking Nicho Hynes, but Trindle was definitely the better on the night. How did you guys see it?
Well, when you talk about Nicho Hynes, we go back to the year when he won the Dally M medal by a record margin and then got $1 million 7-year contract at the Cronulla Sharks. And when you're on that sort of brass, there are huge expectations on you. And there's no question tonight that he was slightly on the disappointing side and he didn't play up to that pay packet. Trindle was the better of the two. He was the dominant player. He took over the goal kicking from Nicho. He did most of the kicking and general play. But as I said, it's one game of rugby league, and it's a long season ahead.
It is. It's the first game. I don't even think it's a concern. I'm not saying it's concerning, but What I'm trying to compare it to is if you look at the likes of Munster and Jerome Hughes and Nathan Cleary and these guys who are playing in grand finals, it's their key playmakers that get them there. And it's another level that you need to go to. And that's what Cronulla have struggled with over the past few years. They get to the finals quite easily, right? But they just can't take that next step. And a lot of that rides on probably Nicho and his performance.
Well, I made it clear the other night, Braith, that if they want to win a comp, Nicho needs to be firing. I think we saw tonight they pushed Penrith all the way, and that was with a quiet Nicho. If Nicho fires up, they probably win this game, right? So, they need Nicho to be at his best, not in round 1, but in round 27 and in the finals. That's when they need Nicho at his best. So there's no doubt he's got another level, and he can go up a couple of levels from here.
Yeah, this is not a Nicho bash, and you made a really good point. If you're on $1 million, you get judged on $1 million player. If you play in the back row, you get judged on Sonny Bill Williams or whatever. If you play halfback and you're the $1 million man, you get judged on Nathan Cleary, on getting the job done. And then tonight I thought he was good in patches, but it's over the 80 minutes. It's over control. And then,
And aren't $1 million players better game managers than what we saw from him today, in the big moments that you spoke about?
I think he took a bit, as the game went on, he just took a bit of a back step and he let Trindle be the dominant one, which is okay. And he spoke about that on 360 to us. He said at times one will be dominant or the other one will be more dominant. And Trindle, was, but Nicho just, when the game was on the line, you need your big guns to stand up.
Trindle was playing well though, Brace. So I suppose Nicho's in that.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
He's in that
too.
position where Trindle's playing well. You almost want to step back and if he's playing well, give it to the old hand.
You don't step back.
But he needs to do more.
Yeah, you got to contribute. Yeah. You're a high quality
But Trindle
player.
had the hot hand. And when one guy's got the hot hand,
how long has he had
Do you
the
know
hot
when
hand
it's
for?
fair for us to have a very serious discussion about Nicho after about a month of the competition?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll
See
stop
how
talking
they've got
about
next
it.
week off. No, I'm not saying we don't. I think
we'll revisit this in 4 weeks.
You know what? I think there's a lot of Cronulla fans at home who are talking about
I know they are,
the game
Buzz, you'll be
tonight.
talking about it next week.
Mate,
I think he deserves a month before we start making big statements.
I agree with you, but it doesn't mean it's going to go away.
No, it doesn't.
No, you know what I mean? So I agree with you. He should be given 4 to 6 weeks. But the reality is we're going to talk about him, and we're going to be talking about. We talk about every key player in teams that aren't, probably reaching their potential. That's just the life that we live in now. Adam Fanua-Blake, he was really good for the Sharks. A big signing in the off season and come up with that big try at a huge moment. That was impressive.
I think Yeo missed one tackle all night, and it was Fanua-Blake just powering through him and Dylan Edwards, who's a sensational defensive fullback.
I thought it was
he was a great
start. Great start. He come off the line sideways, right, which is a no-no at a defender, and then Isaiah Yeo got behind him. That's probably the only cross. But to go to a new club and get there and still learning the system and, and then that's a shortcut. Like, then when you defend, you always got to come off straight. Other than that, you go, well, as he grows. And big guys, that's pretty harsh because big guys, round one, like they take about 4 to 6 weeks to get into that, that sort of top
Just before we
conditioning.
move on, we know we've had our say on the Panthers. We know they're going to be thereabouts again. If they're not the team to beat, they're close to it. What about the Sharks? Just quickly. After tonight?
Well,
I
I think Rudy made a good point. Nicho not playing dominant, and they still got within, a converted try. I think it was an encouraging sign for the Sharks.
Are you agreeing?
he did. He said I made a good point.
Do you know what?
That's a first.
It's a beautiful
Well,
moment.
you know why it's the first? Because it's very rare.